Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Desktop Bowl. It's the only show where I sit at my desktop and talk ball. Today is Friday, November 22nd, and we've got an excellent weekend preview for you. Let's go ahead and start it off recapping Steelers Browns, the Snow Bowl, the Jameis Winston Snow Angel, insanity bowl, really more than anything. Just the most classic example of the Mike Tomlin letdown spot. He wins a game as a home underdog, then he goes and he's a favorite on the road and he loses. Um, I made this pick in my pick'em league, and it was only what 17% of people were on the Browns in this game. I mean, how could the Patriots? How could the Steelers only be a 3.5 point favorite against Cleveland? Well, the answer is that Mike Tomlin loses this kind of game all the time, literally all the time. Give him an opportunity to go play an awful team after he beats the best team in the league. He's gonna go and collapse. It's just what the Steelers do. Don't panic on the Steelers. They're still good. This game was, I mean, just insane in the snow, classic letdown spot, everything. I mean, literally everything. Um, so yeah, nice win for the Browns. Get to 3-8. It's big for Jameis, honestly. Just to see him put together good football game after good football game is fun. Um, Jameis Winston is resurrecting Jerry Jeudy. If you're a fantasy Jerry Jeudy owner, you know how bad he's been all year. And Jameis Winston has completely brought him back from the dead. He's been feeding him targets. And Jerry Jeudy, I mean, he's awesome. Remember that he was taken over CD Lamb, over Henry Ruggs, right? Yeah, he was taken over Henry Ruggs, right? I think it went Jeudy and then Ruggs when the Raiders obviously should have taken Lamb. I think that's how that happened. Um, but yeah, I mean, this was the wide receiver prospect of that draft. That draft had Ruggs and CD Lamb in it. I can't remember who went first, but he's a good receiver. He's a good football player. This shouldn't come as a massive surprise. It just does because he's been so bad his whole career in the pros, and maybe it's just a product of awful quarterback play with Deshaun Watson, and being, or well, no, he got drafted to the Broncos. Oh, well, bad quarterback play with Russell Wilson. There's really, I mean, it's been bleak for Jerry Jeudy everywhere he's been. Um, but yeah, I mean, he's playing well, and that's fun. 2 touchdowns for Nick Chubb, that's fun. It's good to see him back and playing healthy as well. The snow was just insane in this game. I mean, like blankets of snow coming down by the fourth quarter. Um, and yeah, I mean, just the classic Mike Tomlin letdown spot, the turnovers, the everything, just a total slugfest. And the Browns come away with a big win over the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. We've got plenty more of weekend preview to do, so let's go ahead and do it. First, we've got the Minnesota Vikings at the Chicago Bears. Now, the Bears played tough last week. They played the Commanders tough. They played the Packers tough. They've had games where they play teams tough. They've had games where they don't play teams tough. For example, they got blown out by the Cardinals. And there's been moments where Caleb Williams looks lost. There's been moments where he's played well. I am going to bet that Brian Flores' system against a rookie quarterback like Caleb Williams is going to be enough to cover the 3.5 in this game. Um, I need to see better play out of Sam Darnold. He had a great start to the year, really fun start to the year, but hard to believe in him consistently when it seems to be falling off. Um, the interceptions have been bad, the decisions have been bad. Justin Jefferson's not involved enough. I mean, there's just plenty of problems going on. So I've it feels bad for the Vikings. This is a get right opportunity. The Bears are reeling. You have to beat them here. You have to beat them. You have to do it handedly. Therefore, I like them as a 3.5 point favorite. I'm done picking against the Lions. I won't do it again. Lions giving 7.5 to the Colts in Indianapolis. Indianapolis's run defense is absolutely pitiful, and Detroit loves to run the ball down your throat. They also are more than happy to beat teams by 40 points, as they've shown. They do not take their foot off the gas, even against bad teams. Let's go Lions. 7.5 points. That's probably not enough. And Anthony Richardson will have at least one interception in this game. Look for Terrion Arnold or Brian Branch or Kirby Joseph. I mean, somebody's going to make the play. It's Anthony Richardson. It's this the Lions. It's obviously the Lions. It's who else could it be in this game, really? Um, Dolphins host the Patriots. 7-point favorite are the Dolphins. See, this feels so bad because here's the thing. I've been like perfect on Thursday nights this year. Maybe something about the fact that I do these picks while I'm recording is the problem. Maybe I need to make the picks before I record and then talk about them. But we're gonna just keep rolling down the line with the favorites here. I mean, I think that Miami is just vastly better than the New England Patriots. Can the Patriots, muck a game up, make it ugly, hang tough? Yes. I could totally see them covering 7 points, but I also could see Miami having a big like get right, look at us, like we can go on a run here and make the playoffs. Miami's lurking. Their season is absolutely not over. They only have 6 losses. Um, just keep winning games. And we've talked about it on previous shows. They've got the Packers, they've got the Niners, a few tough teams still left, the Texans, I believe, as well. So a few tough teams, but I mean, you go 2-1 in those three, you're right there, and probably in. And your competition is the Broncos, or the Bengals, who are reeling. I think it can be done. I like the Giants at home against the Bucks, guys. I like the Giants at home against the Bucks. Not to win the game. I don't think they'll win the game, but to cover, I could see it. Bucks giving 5.5 in New York. Obviously, the big news: Daniel Jones was benched and then subsequently released. Emotional press conference where trying to just keep on saying, I'm still processing. I'm trying to put the team first. Whatever needs to be done, and it's player speak, it's media trained speak, but I do feel bad for Daniel Jones. He's not the guy. It's not his fault that he was drafted 6 overall, or 8 overall or whatever it was. It's not his fault that the Mannings put their name behind him and said this is the guy. It's not his fault that he played good football in the season where he won a playoff game. It's not his fault that it won Dayball Coach of the Year. It's not his fault he got drafted to a team that had no offensive line and no talent and bad head coaching. And then by the time they got the head coaching, they still didn't have the talent. And he's just not that good, is what is his fault? So yeah, I mean, I think that's really all I have to say about Daniel Jones getting released. I remember he came in for Eli in, I don't know, 2018, game three, and ran for a touchdown on his first drive. I'm smiling. I can't help but smile. At the time, it was hopeful. It was oh my goodness, like we haven't had a quarterback with mobility in my lifetime. We've had Eli Manning the whole time, and he's been a statue, and he brought us to Super Bowls, and he's a good quarterback, but you know, um, definitely like not a guy who was going to run for yards, not a guy who was going to be dual threat. And it was like, oh, like this Daniel Jones kid, he can run, he can throw. It seems like he's pretty good. Maybe we hit on this pick. Um, and there were moments, the playoff win was a moment. The Bucks game, however many years ago, was a moment. I mean, there have been moments where it's like this guy is gonna be the guy. He's gonna be our franchise quarterback. And then there have just been vastly more moments where it's just so clearly not the fit. Um, and he's just not that good. Could he go and could he go and be the Baker Mayfield equivalent for the Bucks or something like that? Like could he go find a team that has a great situation and play well? Probably. He probably does have the talent. I think to make the NFL you have to be pretty freaking talented. Um, but it's just not going to work out in New York. In New York, you have to be really, really good because the team is really, really bad. Um, Yeah, and that's my piece. That's my piece. Tommy DeVito is going to give the Giants a bump. And honestly, that might even be debatable. No, he's not going to give the Giants a bump. I mean, players came out and said, you know, this is the team giving up. Daniel Jones still gives us our best chance to win, which is hard to fathom. But if he gives you your best chance to win, that's trouble. Um, and Tampa's a good team. But the whole world is on Tampa. I don't know. I'm going to stick with the Giants. I'll stick with my gut. Do I think that they're going to win this game? Absolutely not. Could they cover? Maybe. I don't know. Um, I'm sure that pools across the globe have the Bucks in this game, and can't blame you, honestly. Another NFC East matchup here. The Washington Commanders host the Dallas Cowboys. 10.5 point favorite are the Commanders. And the Dallas defense, I mean, once the once the Commanders score one touchdown, the defense will quit because you can't come back. They're not going to score 7 points in a game. They're just not capable. Um, and it sucks. It feels bad for the Cowboys. You lose Dak, but um, I really can't bring myself to feel bad for Cowboys fans. Sorry, I can't do it. So I think the Commanders win this game handedly. 10.5 is a lot of points, but I think it's probably still fine. I think it's probably enough. This is a really interesting one. Chiefs at Panthers. The Chiefs are an 11-point favorite on the road against the Panthers after they just lost to the Bills. You could say it's a get right spot for the Chiefs, or you could say that they're reeling. It's really hard to tell. Mahomes has not been playing Mahomes level football, but I feel like it's time for the Chiefs to kick it into gear, and not like they're struggling. I mean, they have one loss. They're a very, very good team. Could I bring myself to pick the Panthers? I mean, 11 points is a lot. The Chiefs don't blow anybody out. Like, let's go look at the Chiefs. I say this every week. They don't blow anybody out. 7, 1, 5, 7, 13, their biggest blowout of the year against the Saints. 10, 7, 6, 2, and then loss. I mean, they beat the Raiders close. They blew out the Saints, though. I think the Saints are probably a closer comparison than the Raiders are. Um, yeah, I think we have to roll with the Chiefs. I just can't bring myself to pick the Panthers, although 11 points is so many, and the Chiefs are a team that does not like to blow teams out. Um, it's tough to pick a team that's that bad. Um, that being said, I want to. I want to really badly. And if you go and do it, I respect you because honestly, it's probably the right pick. It's just I can't bring myself to do it. I'm thinking about moving my mouse to this Carolina bubble and clicking. I just can't bring myself to do it. Houston Texans host the Tennessee Titans. They're an 8.5 point favorite. I would say that the Texans need this. And it needs to be convincing. Your team's coming back. Everybody's starting to be healthy. You've got Nico Collins back. Joe Mixon's, he's a great running back. He's been running all over teams lately. That being said, I think the Tennessee defense is really good. And Tennessee is like bad, at least offensively, but their defense keeps them in games. I mean, if you just throw out the Lions game and maybe the Bills games, I mean they hung with the Texans or not the Texans. Sorry, we bugged there. They play the Texans. They hung with the Vikings. They hung with the Chargers. Um, they hung in a bunch of games early in the year. I mean, I could see it. I could see them hanging around. It's a division opponent. Um, 8.5 points. They're a good defense at least. So give me the Texans in that one. Subsequently, I also like the Raiders at home against the Broncos. I just keep picking against the Broncos. I keep being wrong. But I just don't think they're that good. I really don't think they're that good. 5.5 points in Las Vegas. I like the Raiders. Sue me. Sue me for liking the Raiders. At least to cover 5.5. It's not that many points, but I could see them losing by a field goal. I could also see Broncos winning this by 30 points like they did last week, but I just keep being wrong. I'm gonna keep being wrong. I don't care. Give me the Niners against Green Bay. I think that the Niners just need it more, and I think that their roster is better. This is in Green Bay, and the Packers are a 2.5 point favorite, but I like the Niners in this game. Um, they need to get it. They need to get it right soon, and they're running out of time. It's time to get it right. I think now is a better time than any for the Niners to figure it out. um, and they're healthy, it's time. You got to figure it out. Um, Jordan Love's good for one interception per game. I think that helps the Niners. Got to see some clean Brock Purdy game where he doesn't need to be the hero. I want them to run the ball. Use Christian McCaffrey, use Debo Samuel, and go beat this team that I think they're better than, at least on paper. Seahawks at home are a 1 point dog to the Cardinals. I like the Seahawks at home. I always like the Seahawks at home. And I think this is a game where they can go and get it done. They've got pretty decent run defense. I do worry a little bit about just Kyler just dicing them up, because he definitely is capable of that. But I don't know. I definitely could see the Cardinals winning this game. But I think that Seattle is a better team, which is crazy because Arizona's in first in that division. They're the only non 500 team in that division, but I just don't think they're that good. The Cardinals and the Broncos. I don't know if it's just I can't get myself over the logo. I just can't bring myself to pick those two teams. I just never do it. This one is really interesting. Sunday Night Football, we've got the Eagles going to LA to play the Rams, and SoFi Stadium's hosting back-to-back nights. Look at that. The Chargers also host the Ravens the next weekend. Or not the next weekend, the next day on Monday Night Football. Let's do Let's do probably the Eagles. I think that the Eagles are better than people realize, honestly. Like they've gone very quietly, very under the radar as just a vastly better team than much of the NFC. They probably have some of the shorter odds to at least make the Super Bowl because other than the Lions, like who do you trust in the NFC? I like the Eagles behind the Lions. I think they're the second best team in the NFC. Jalen Hurts is playing well. I still don't think he's that great of a quarterback, but he's doing what he needs to do, running what I think is the most stacked roster offensively in football. Um, and yeah, I mean Saquon Barkley's awesome. The Rams cannot stop the run. I love the Eagles in this game. I think 3 points is nowhere near enough. But I would like to see a shootout because I am a Rams receiver owner. I have Cup and Puka Nakua, so I'd love to see this one be a shootout. Dang, am I going to pick two teams back to back nights to come into LA and beat the home team? I think I am. I think the Ravens need this win bad. I think they need this bounce back in a big way. Um, Obviously, this is the Harbaugh Bowl, and everybody's going to be talking about that. Um, there's really not a ton to say other than I just think Baltimore's a much better team. And I think the Chargers have done a good job. That win against the Bengals was big, like really big for them in terms of momentum. But I think Baltimore is just a step up in class in terms of roster for them to have to deal with. They're going to stop the run much better. And I just don't buy those weapons. Obviously, Baltimore's biggest weekend. Their biggest weakness is their secondary all year. They've been getting gashed in the secondary. I don't buy Josh Palmer and Quentin Johnston gashing the Baltimore secondary. I just don't see it. Vlad McConkey, I like. I think he's very good, but I don't see them going out and gashing the Ravens. So those are my picks. Subject to change, but I honestly think I'm going to roll with most of this. Tampa Bay Giants, I might flip, and maybe I can talk myself out of the Raiders or something like that. But other than that, that's all I've got in terms of NFL. And let's go to college. The big game this week is Indiana at Ohio State. Ohio State's an 11-point favorite. Nobody likes Indiana in this game. Nobody's even giving them a chance. Um, when you look at Oregon and how Oregon was able to beat Ohio State, a lot of it is good scheme and speed on the outside, right? Indiana has a good scheme and has speed on the outside. Now, they don't play in these types of games often. This will be all of their first time playing in a game of this caliber. I mean, a lot of them are James Madison transfers that came with Kurt Signetti, uh, and they have not played the likes of an Ohio State. Um, Curtis Rourke has been playing great football. He's their quarterback. If you're unfamiliar, he's awesome. I think this Indiana team is more alive than people realize in this game. I don't think they're going to win it. I do not think they're going to win it. I think 11 points is a lot of points, though, for a team that I know they've played nobody and their strength of schedule is really weak, but they are mauling teams. I mean, they are mauling the teams that they are beating. Their average win is like, 28 to 30 something points. Like they're very good. It's not like they're just eking out. Like Miami, I think is a team that's just eking out a lot of these games. They'll probably beat Wake Forest by 3 points. Indiana is mm, it's been bloodbath after bloodbath. They are killing teams. Um, I think they're more alive than they're getting credit for. I still like the Buckeyes to win this game. And there's a lot of talk about whether a one-loss Indiana team should get into the playoff. I think they should. Um, I think it's honestly just brand bias more than anything why people think they shouldn't. Uh, I get that they have a weak strength of schedule. This is going to happen in these big conferences. The Big Ten has 18 teams in it. Is it Indiana's fault that Michigan sucks? No, they just won a national championship. It's a good team. It's not Indiana's fault that they suck. Um, so I don't know. I would love to see them play Ohio State close, and Ohio State hasn't blown anybody out, anybody relevant at least. I mean, let's look. Lost to Oregon by one, played Nebraska tough, played Penn State close. I mean, yeah, they're beating up on like the horrifically bad teams, but Indiana's not bad. I think they're going to hang around in this game. I think 11 points is so many points for this Indiana team. That's just me. Ole Miss has to keep winning. I think Florida with DJ Lagway is a lot better, and it's going to the swamp. That's always tough, but I think Ole Miss is probably just too good to go and lose that game. Rutgers is a 1 point favorite at home against ranked Illinois. That's fun. My dad will be excited about that. I think Rutgers is good. I think they're actually like a lot better than people realize. I've watched some Rutgers football this year, at least more than I would typically watch, and they're not awful. Like this quarterback can kind of play. They're bowl eligible, like good for Rutgers. I would love if they could get a win here, maybe somehow get ranked. They won't, but it would be cool if they did get ranked. Georgia, bye game, UMass, good for you. Keep winning. Tennessee, UTEP, good for you. Keep winning. I really cannot stand the fact that these SEC teams schedule a cupcake towards the end of the year. I wish this game would get played earlier in the year. Like Indiana is going to the shoe this weekend to play Ohio State. What's Georgia doing? Oh, they're hosting UMass. Oh, okay. What's Tennessee doing? Oh, they're hosting UTEP. Oh, okay. These are the teams that are bitching and moaning because Indiana's going to get in the playoff and they might not. Like Indiana's going to the shoe. You're playing UMass at home. You're playing UTEP at home. Like what are we talking about? I know Georgia has a little bit of strength of schedule. I'm not being ignorant on that. But I mean, it's not you could win your games. There's always that option. Texas hosts Kentucky. Just got to keep winning for Texas. Kentucky's a team that can catch you sleeping. 20 points is too many points. Texas probably will not blow out Kentucky. It's kind of not what we do, unfortunately. I would love if we could. I would love if we did. It's just not our MO. We played Arkansas close last week. I guess that was at Arkansas. I just think Kentucky is like sneaky good. They're always sneaky good. Texas should win it. It should all be fine. Penn State, Minnesota, who cares? Penn State, just keep winning. This is the other big one. BYU goes to Arizona State is a 3 point dog. Oh, there's actually two big ones in the Big 12. The Big 12 is carnage. So let's go both of these games. Fortunately, they're right next to each other. Colorado, Kansas, BYU, Arizona State. Let's start with Colorado, Kansas, because I'm sure you're looking at this and you're like, well, Kansas is 4-6. Are they like this is a big game, really? Colorado's only a 3 point favorite. Can you believe that? This game's at Arrowhead Stadium. Kansas has seriously figured it out in recent weeks. If you're not paying attention to Kansas, they played K-State tough. They absolutely could have won this game. Then they went back to Lawrence. They played this game at Kansas. They beat Iowa State handedly, and then they went to BYU and won that game. Jalen Daniels, their quarterback, that's Jalen Daniels, not Jaden Daniels, has been great. He's rounded a corner. Everybody had Kansas as a top 3, top 4 team in the Big 12 coming into the year. that wasn't because all these people are like brain dead. They like Kansas was supposed to be good. They should have been good. Um, and it seems like they're rounding a corner. It seems like they're figuring it out. I think they are very alive against Colorado in this game. That being said, I think Colorado is better. I think they will win it. The speed on the outside is just too much. I mean, they have too much NFL caliber speed. I think Shadur Sanders is the best quarterback in the country, and I know people love Cam Ward or Dylan Gabriel. Shadur Sanders is better. He has no time in the pocket ever, and he hits his weapons always. I mean, he's should be the first overall pick in the draft, in my opinion. And I hope he's a New York Giant. Talking about Daniel Jones, he is so real. I think Colorado wins this game, but close. Do they cover three? Probably, but like don't go expecting Colorado to like blow out Kansas in this game. I think Kansas is very alive. BYU and Arizona State is another interesting one. It's at Arizona State. Arizona State's a team that's improved a lot and is playing well. I believe they control their own destiny for a path to the college football playoff. They have to do it against two good teams. Arizona was a lot of people's pick earlier in the year to win the Big 12, and obviously BYU is what BYU is. So they've got a tough schedule, but if they beat BYU, then it's Colorado, and then BYU will have two losses. Arizona State will have the tiebreaker over them. So then it's Colorado and Arizona State in the Big 12 championship. Carnage. I mean, total carnage. Um, I think BYU is better. They've been really good all year. It's hard for me to trust an Arizona State team, but maybe. I mean, maybe I can see it. Lastly, well, there's actually a few. There's a few. Let's do a couple. First, let's talk about Alabama, Oklahoma. Oklahoma is so pitifully bad this year. It's actually crazy how bad this team is. And I know I'm a Texas guy and obviously like take everything I say with a grain of salt because I hate Oklahoma and I want them to do badly. But how long are we going to give Brent Venables? I I don't think you should give him very much more time, honestly. The program under Lincoln Riley was making playoffs, was winning the Big 12 every year, always top 15 in the country. That's not crazy to say. More often than not, top 10, top five. And it's been just a total spiral since Venables has come. Dylan Gabriel leaves for Oregon. You can't retain talent. You can't recruit talent. There's guys jumping ship left and right. It's honestly a real shame that Oklahoma is like on a path of fading toward obscurity. I don't think that that's what Oklahoma fans expected with Venables, and I don't think that's the direction that Oklahoma boosters are going to want to go. I would not be surprised if that dude does not have this job uh, next year. I don't think he's the guy. I like Alabama to go to Oklahoma and win convincingly. If Texas can do it, Alabama can definitely do it. They've got a great offense as well. We need we need it. We absolutely must have Army beating Notre Dame at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York this Saturday. We have to have it. Notre Dame does not belong anywhere near the college football playoff. You lost at home to Northern Illinois University. You don't deserve it. I don't care if you've got a nice logo and nice colors and people in South Bend are really like the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Your team is bad. You have played nobody. You lost to, I mean, you beat a terrible Texas A&M team who is bad with Connor Wegman, which makes them worse, which is a decent win, fine, but that's it. One decent win and the worst loss of any top 10 team in the country, and it's not close at all. What is this team doing at 6? How is this team over Alabama, over Georgia, over Ole Miss? It makes absolutely no sense that that team should be ranked over those teams. I mean, it's criminal. Tennessee, this team should be on the outside looking in, hoping that Tennessee or, Georgia or Texas slips up and looking to maybe steal the very last spot in the playoff. The fact that they're comfortably in with how with their resume is a joke. And it's just brand bias. They play nobody and they get to cruise to six in the country purely off of logo. They'll get a playoff game probably in South Bend, and it's going to be Georgia or Alabama or, Tennessee, or pick a Big Ten team, Penn State, hopefully not Penn State, because I could see Penn State losing to Notre Dame. But they're going to get mauled. Any good college football team is going to go to South Bend in the first round of the playoffs and maul this team. And for that reason, we must have Army win this game. So get ready to root hard for Army. They're a 14-point dog. I honestly can't believe they're that big of a dog. Go Army, beat Notre Dame, please, for everybody. Texas A&M is a 2.5-point favorite at Auburn. I don't have a breakdown for this game. I don't want to talk about it. I just want to point at them and laugh and say, haha, your team's only a 2.5-point favorite against Auburn. You suck. To think that you belong anywhere near a college football playoff is a joke. Is this going to age poorly if Texas goes to Kyle Field and loses? Yeah, it is. They're awful. They are so bad. They are not a top 15 team in the country. That's all I have to say. Um, that's all I've got. Thanks so much for watching, and I very much appreciate you for sticking around. It's going to be a great weekend of football. There's a bunch of big games both on Saturday and on Sunday, so should be a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you would like, subscribe, comment, whatever, interact with the show in any way you feel comfortable. And I'll see you all on, oh, you know what? Um, I'll see you all on Monday because I can't put out a show on Tuesday because I'll be traveling. So I will see all of you on Monday, which means I have to remember Sunday night to record. So it's a coin flip. Um, yeah, it's a coin flip. But hopefully I'll see you all on Monday. Thanks for watching and goodbye.